Hey, this is Greg McAfee, and welcome to the Greg McAfee Show. Now let's get started. Hi, I'm Greg McAfee, and welcome to the Greg McAfee Show. I've owned a heating and air conditioning company for 30 years, worked our way from number 487 to number 1 in our territory, in our industry of residential heating and air conditioning. About 10 years ago, I started coaching, holding boot camps, writing articles for business, and have been very successful at that. It's gone very well. So what I would like to do, this is our first show, the Greg McAfee Show, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a business boot camp revival. If you have a small business and it's not doing well, it probably needs revived, and that's what this is all about. So what I would like to do is go through a normal boot camp in 20 to 30 segments at a time and help you with your small business, whatever it might be. I have helped several kinds of businesses. Actually, if it has to do with a home service, this is definitely for you, but really any small business, this can help. So how I start off our business boot camps, you might also hear me refer to it as a business revival, because a revival to me is to, you get to start all over again. You get revived, you get motivated, you change the way of thinking that got you where you're at. You change the way of thinking to get you where you want to go. So we're going to talk a lot about that throughout our podcasts. So I always like to start off, welcome, but I like to start off about the American Eagle. We used to have a male and female couple in Dayton, and I was privileged to go down and be able to watch them. And this is actually the Dayton Eagles that I went down and watched, probably 20 minutes from my office. So, but I like to start off about the story about the Eagle because, why are you listening to this podcast? Why do you want your small business to be revived? This could kind of set the stage. It normally does. So eagles are just a different bird. God created the eagle. It's a totally different bird than any other bird. It's a very strong bird. It represents America, by the way. It's the American bald eagle. Eagles fly at very high altitudes, not with low-flying birds like sparrows or other birds. They have extremely strong vision. We're going to talk a lot about vision throughout our podcasts in the future. And eagles have the ability to focus on objects up to 3 miles away. They can sit on a rock or up in a tree, and 3 miles away, they can see a rabbit move. They can soar down and catch that rabbit, or it could be a deer, it could be a coyote, it could be anything. But their focus is just unbelievable. They stay focused on that all the way down until they capture it. So they soar at unbelievable speeds, 138 miles per hour upward and up to 180 miles an hour downward. They have a wingspan of somewhere between 6 and 7 feet. That's right, 6 and 7 feet. Now, they're extremely strong, like I said, and the eagle could easily grasp onto your hand and break every they could grasp onto your hand and break every bone in your hand. Unbelievable strength. They also have special lenses. God created multiple lenses rather in their eyes. They have their standard lenses, and then they have a sun lens. And I think the reason God created that sun lens was because other birds are very jealous of the eagle, and they will team up and chase the eagle, and multiple birds will chase the eagle to try to hurt it, and the eagle can fly right into the sun like no other bird. Those lenses come down, ultraviolet lens for sure, fly right into the sun. Other birds have to turn off. They also allow the storms of life. I want you to grasp this. They allow the storms of life to lift them above the storm. So an eagle flies above the storm, not under the storm, not with the storm, above the storm. Other birds must find shelter, and if an eagle waited for perfect conditions, it would never soar. So I want you to think about that in your business, in your life. If you're always waiting for perfect conditions, you're never going to make it. You're never going to achieve much. You're never going to take a risk. And the faster you move, the higher you soar. Give more than what you're asked to give, and you'll receive more than you deserve. Think about that. They are the longest living bird. However, very, very interesting. Most people don't know this. Somewhere around the age of 40, because an eagle can live to be around 70 years of age. But somewhere around the age of 40, most eagles go through a moping period. Now you can look at, what do we go through around 40? Most people go through some sort of midlife crisis. Well, the eagle goes through some midlife crisis. It's just called the moping period. And for the eagle, what happens around 40 is they start moping, and they quit flying, and they start walking around like a chicken or a turkey instead of an eagle, and their talons become calcified, and their beak also calcifies and becomes brittle, and their feathers become very thick because they're not plucking them on a regular basis, so they just become really a mess. And they go through this process. It's almost a half year, 6-month process. But let me tell you the good news. The good news is that other eagles fly over these eagles that are going through the moping period, and they drop fresh meat, and they squawk loudly. Now, you say, why do they do that? Well, these eagles that are dropping fresh meat, they've already been through the moping period. They've already come out of the moping period. So these eagles are encouraging these other eagles that are in the moping period to come out. And basically, here's what happens. Approximately 25% do not come out, and they end up dying. They die on land because they thought they were a chicken or a turkey, and they quit acting like an eagle, and they weren't. God made them to be an eagle, not a chicken or a turkey. So at this point, they either live or die. The ones that take the fresh meat and eat and renew their strength, they mount up with wings like eagles do, and they fly to their rock. I was told by an eagle expert that every eagle has a rock, and they fly to their rock. They sharpen their talons, knock all that calcium off their talons. They sharpen their talons. They actually knock off their beak, and a new beak grows in, much stronger and sharper, and they pluck out many of their feathers and they renew their feathers, and they once again take to the air and become what they were meant to be, an eagle. So it's a change process. And when an eagle goes through the moping period, this process must take place. When we go through hard times, when we go through difficulties, a change process must take place. I personally went through a tough time recently this year in June of this year. By the way, I'm in Dayton, Ohio, and have been here ever since I was 19 years of age. I'll tell you more of that story later as we go. However, we're in Dayton, Ohio, and I am very vocal. Up until now, being vocal has only helped me. Unlike many business owners, I am not afraid to stand up for what I believe. I will vocally let people know what I believe in a positive way. I don't jump in front of people's faces and tell everybody what I believe, but I am not afraid to put it on social media. I'm not afraid to stand up for the family. I'm not afraid to stand up for life. I'm not afraid to stand up for Jesus. I'm not afraid to stand up for what I believe. And so far, in my 30 years of business, it's only helped me. I've spoke to up to 10,000 people at a time in many events. The Tea Party event, I spoke at 7 different tea parties. I was very vocal, very positive, but very vocal. Did I lose a few customers because of that? I lost a few, but gained hundreds, if not thousands, of customers. So everything I've stood up for so far has been very, very positive. This year, I was in a conversation on my personal Facebook, and I posted something that could be portrayed very insensitive and somewhat stupid. I got carried away, and I was accused of being a racist, and it went viral. It had to do with the George Floyd death. It went viral really fast, and a group attacked me. They did a great job of attacking me, and it caused a lot of the big companies that we support to drop me or suspend my company, however you want to look at it. And so I went through a pretty tough time. It was pretty tough. My life was threatened. My building was threatened to be burned down. My family was threatened. My team at McAfee was threatened. Lost approximately 3 to 5% of my regular customer base. So I went through a tough time. So we all go through tough times. I went through a restoration period, which was, I was definitely moping at the time. But I went through a restoration period that definitely helped me. And multiple different things took place during that time. But an eagle mentality is committed to total discipline. And during my restoration period, this happened on June 3rd, and everything went viral on June 3rd. So for approximately 90 days, I was going through a restoration period, and I had goals and I had things set up. I was very disciplined because it takes discipline to be the best at what you do. Nobody reaches number one by being undisciplined. I was also fortunate enough and very proud to serve in the United States Marine Corps, and there is nothing undisciplined about a Marine. If there is, you won't be a Marine long. So I want to challenge you all who are listening and watching, don't get caught in the downdraft of doubt. Live your life like you only have one more day to live, and you won't be disappointed. Because I guarantee you, if you have one more day to live, you're not going to worry about how much more time you put in the office or how much more time you put on the golf course or anything else that you do right now, other than how much time do I have to spend with my family and things that really matter. So as we talk about change, it's a process, and change must take place. Nobody likes change unless it's their idea, and then they love it, right? So you got to have a mentality of total discipline through this and through your life, through your business. So I want to recall my beginnings. I don't know how well, this is our first podcast, so I don't know how well you can see this screen. But there's a little desk there, very small desk. 1990 is when this might have been 1991. We started in November of 1990. So by 1991, I think we had a desk. We lived in a very small 800 square foot ranch. We had just gotten married the same year, 1990, and we bought a house and we started a business all in the same year. So that was my first desk. Very old computer, but don't know if you can see this or not, but there's one large and two small pictures on top of this desk, and they're basically Little League teams. I have been supporting children since day one, and first it was just cool to have my McAfee name on a hat, and my wife and I would go watch them play. But then I realized not too many businesses support Little League teams like they used to. So today we just support thousands of kids, but hundreds of different events, teams, etc., from Little League to Pee Wee football to cheerleading, motocross, racing, soccer, everything else you can think of. We're going to be there somewhere. It's important to me, and I've made it important to my business. The next slide here are this is my first truck. I bought it used. Ironically, it didn't have air conditioning. I bought it used. I put a used service cap on the back. We had it professionally logoed, and I was in business. I started with $274 and this used truck. And then, like I said, we started off in our house, and then I built a garage behind our house. It was just a very small garage, 24 by 24. It was split down the middle, half office, half storage. And our office did not have plumbing, so my wife was our first receptionist, and then as we started having children, we hired someone to work as a receptionist, and she had to walk from the garage to our house to use the restroom. So you do what you got to do, and you do whatever it takes. I say you do whatever it takes. Had we not done that, I don't know how far we would have been along. But anyway, you do whatever it takes. So I always like to recall our beginnings. There's more beginnings as we grew. We had other buildings for storage. We had other buildings for storage and training. And in 1996, I bought some land and paid it off, bought 3 acres of land. And if you can see this, we went from our 24 by 24 garage to an 11,000 square foot building. And I thought we would take the back half of the building and lease out the front and I thought it will lease fast. It's a nice, really nice building. However, we sat on that for 18 months before we got it leased. Now, remember, we were debt-free in a garage, and we went into this 11,000 square foot building with a loan, and I thought for sure leasing it would make the mortgage payment. So without leasing it for 18 months, we were actually on interest-only payments for several months during this process, and we finally got it leased, which definitely helped. But we also started our own sheet metal shop. We needed sheet metal. We do custom sheet metal around the furnace area when we replace it. The company we were using could not stay up with our demand, so I either had to slow my growth, buy a sheet metal shop, or start my own. And after much thought and prayer and counsel, we decided to start our own. And we started a company called New Fab Sheet Metal from scratch. We bought some used machinery, and we were in business. We almost did, in the first 5 years, we almost did $1 million in sales with just 3 fabricators. And but I'll tell you more about that in a minute. We also opened up a satellite office in Xenia, Ohio, about 20 miles east of our home office, basically, and we kept that for a few years and decided we really didn't need a satellite office when we can serve anyone from where we're at. So we sold that. But in 2018, the building right next to me became available, and when I first came over and looked at it, it was a mess. It was run down. It was just a mess. It had 75 leaks in the roof, and it was all original paint, carpet, and the company that was leasing it leased it for about 13 years. They never had a customer walk through the door, so they didn't care what it looked like, but it became available to purchase, and they invited me to come over and look at it, and when I did, I didn't want the headache. So I said no. We went back, and about a month or two later, the realtor called me again and said, I think you just need to come back by yourself and walk through this, because we had brought our leadership team through it and everything. So I spent an hour or two walking through it, and, I just decided if I were able to get this for the right price, I could sell all my other buildings and we could be in one roof again, including the sheet metal shop. So I made a ridiculous offer, and they accepted. And we refurbished it. I was the general contractor. We refurbished it in 6 to 7 months, and we moved, and I sold all the other buildings, and very fortunate how everything worked out. This is a view from the top. That's my old buildings right over here to the south. But that was 11,000 square foot. With all our other buildings, we had approximately 26,000 square feet. This building's 30,000 square feet. So we're under one roof now. We love it. It's very efficient. It's very professional. I have remodeled the building, and it needs very, very little. It is just very nice. We like things very clean. Cleanliness to us is safety, and we are in thousands of homes a year, and we like to have a neat, clean job, and that equates to safety for us and our customer. And there is no finish line. I don't have a lot of people they get into their 50s and they've had a successful business, and all they want to talk about is retirement. Retirement is not what I talk about. Yes, one day it will have to happen, but there is no finish line. And to me, the best is yet to come. We still have goals. We still want to dominate. That's what drives me. That's what gets me up every day, is dominating my industry the best I can with what I have and what we have. So I am motivated, but there is no finish line where if I get to this point, we're done. I do have a vision. I do have goals. But the best is yet to come. And I love that. So if we were in a boot camp revival, we would take a break right now. But we're not. So I've got a few more minutes to talk about a couple more things. But know that no one or no company is invincible. And this is basically what I'm going to end with right now, is no one or no company is invincible. And there is no one in our company with an S on their chest unless it stands for struggler. Because I have struggled for 30 years in some form or fashion. Nothing has come easy. No one has deposited $1 into my bank account to help me grow this business. It has been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I wore out a lot of shoes in the first year or two, knocking on doors. I made thousands of phone calls. And I did whatever it took to get my phone to ring. And I'll talk more about that later. But no one in my company is invincible. No Lone Rangers either. We don't have any Lone Rangers. We are a team. And I ask a lot of questions from my team. I have hired people smarter than me. And I have to ask questions from time to time. I have no ego when it comes to that. If you do, you're going to have a hard time growing. If hiring people, you've heard the saying, if you're the smartest person at the table, you're probably at the wrong table. I don't want to be the smartest person at my table. I need to have people around me who are smarter, with even more experience in certain areas, more knowledge, more education, whatever it takes. Just so you know, I did not go to college. I went into the Marine Corps, and when I got out, I went to heating and air conditioning school, and I took school at night, worked full-time during the day, and when I got out of school, I had to take a 50% pay cut to get into heating and air conditioning. But what I teach young people today is sometimes you have to make less in order to make more later. We live in a society where everybody thinks they can either get out of trade school or college and make top dollar, and that's extremely rare. It's work hard, put your time in, earn your money, but that's another class. So for right now, again, I want to welcome you to the Greg McAfee Show. I hope you've heard a few things that are interesting that will keep you coming back and learning more. I have a lot more to teach, and I will end with carry on, and I hope you have a great week.